Good morning, everybody. This is Brenda Perryman, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33, Comcast 20 in Detroit. And today I am at a Mecca. A Mecca because a Mecca is a place where people gather. But this is a beautiful, decorative Mecca that's right here in the heart of the city of downtown Detroit. And it's Hot Sam's, the men's clothier. And I just love the fashions here myself, but I'm going to introduce you to the face of Hot Sam's, and that's Mr. Tony Stovall. Good morning.
Good morning, Brendan. Honored to be on your show, and I really like this theme, the Mecca.
Well, it's just a place where people gather, and we'll talk about that later because that's something I've noticed. Now, Hot Sam's hasn't always been here.
No, matter of fact, we were 1917 Brush Street, around the corner, and we moved over here about 8 years ago. And we adopted a new theme, never left and never will, meaning we'll never leave the people of the city of Detroit because we care, and we'll never leave because we love them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, a lot of people want to know about Tony Stovall. Now, everybody, I met Tony years ago in the city of Southfield. And what I was impressed about, he was always so friendly, so kind. In fact, I even brought my son down to his store. It was just because of the personality. And a lot of times the personality and the character can carry a business too, besides quality goods. Tony, can you tell us a little about yourself, where you grew up and everything?
Well, I'm what you perceive is off the rough side of town. I'm off the east side of Detroit.
East Side.
And I was raised over on Bewick, and which is perceived also, and once again, a rough side of Detroit. And I really want young people to know that it's not where you come from, it's where you go. And it's not where you start, but how you finish the race. I went to Southeastern High School, and I had a great time there, and dressing was a flair I had, me and friends of mine.
Did you play sports there?
Actually, I got cut. I tried out for the basketball team. I got cut, and I went to Detroit Institute of Technology, and I played 2 or 3 years of college basketball there.
Okay, so when you were in high school, were you always a dapper dresser?
Well, they said I was voted the best dresser of my class, of proudly saying 1970 of Southeastern High School.
Jungleers.
Jungleer in the house.
So, how did you dress back then? Tell me some of the styles that you wore back.
Well, you know, it's what was kind of silly. I think about some of the eras that we were in back then. Here I am, about 6'2" at that time, about 150 pounds, and had nerve enough to wear these stilt-like shoes with platforms on them. My hair is about this big, so we wore a lot of different things that I don't think I'd be too proud of right now. But it was fashion, so we tried to wear whatever was fashionable.
And were you the kind of guy who tried to wear something different every day? You really planned it out, or what?
That's funny you say that, Brenda. It sounded like you were in my closet at home because I always lay, and to this day, I always lay what I'm going to wear out the next day. I lay it out the day before. But what was so funny back then, to stretch your money, they had a plan, and we still here have a Hot Sam called layaway. You know, we'd be out of school in June, and school doesn't start back September, so I would put 6 outfits in the layaway. You got 2, different pants and shirts, and then next thing you know, it looks like you have 20 outfits, but actually it was 6 outfits that we stretched into many.
Yeah, because you knew how to coordinate, and
Right.
then, like, if you had a pair of black slacks,
Yes.
you could kind of do a lot of different
Yes, you
things
could.
with it.
Yes, you could.
So I can imagine you. One last thing, did you wear a chain around your neck?
Of course we wore a chain around our neck with the big afro and the pick in the back of my head. So I
You had the
could
pick?
the pick that stayed in the back of my head. And what's funny, when you go back to these schools and you talk to these young kids, it brings back memorabilia. You say, that was me. And I say that to say that young people, it's not how you start, but it is how you finish, and everything will be all right.
Absolutely. So you do some outreach to the schools?
Yeah, we do Dress for Success. We do entrepreneur seminars all
Oh,
the time.
that's wonderful. That is totally wonderful. So how did you get into the clothing business?
Well, it's funny. I was a customer of Hot Sam's, and I always had a flair for different things. I always looked for unique items. And like I told you, I was in college at the time trying to be an electrical engineer. Now, at that time, electrical engineer paid about $12,000 a year. Now, I'm in my third
Which
year
was
of college.
good.
Well, it was, I thought. And I'm selling clothes, having fun.
Oh, so
And-
you were selling part-time?
Yes, they
Oh.
asked me to work there one day, and I worked 8 months, and I made $8,000. So I'm pretty good at math. I'm thinking 8 times 2, that's 16,000. So I can make more money selling clothes and enjoying what I do. So from there, the rest is history.
The rest is history. So when did you, so you started at Hot Sam's in what year?
I started in '74.
So what persuaded you to just buy the shop?
Well, I I was probably one of the best salesmen they ever had. And I learned the marketing. I was the buyer. I was assistant manager. And then my partner, Cliff Green, he's a East Sider too, and he had a degree in business from UAD. So I put his business skills together. Also, he was a tailor. Put that together, and I said, let me make this gentleman my partner. And in 1974, I started working there. In 1994, we bought Hot Sam's.
Isn't that wonderful? Because I remember when you were around the corner.
Yes.
That was a night. And one thing about it, you walk in and that friendly smile and everything, it's like you don't want to leave without buying something. And here I am, a woman, and I want to buy something for a man just because you're so friendly and everything. And we're talking about customer service. And don't you think that that's very important?
It's the most important thing. And people forget the customer is really king. And that is not just a cliche. If we didn't have the customer, we have no business. So it's very important, and I really want to share this with our young people, to smile, greet people, say hello, good morning, how are you doing?
Look them
Just
in the
be
eye.
warm. Yes, and shake their hand.
Why do you think a lot of our young people have a difficult time looking people in the eye?
Because they've been betrayed. It's not their fault, it's our fault, really. I could not imagine back in the day, my father not teaching me. We're not doing a good enough job of teaching our young people the basic essential skills of good morning, washing up, and treating people like you want to be treated.
Right, absolutely. I'm going to ask you this question. What age should a young man start wearing cologne?
I almost want to tell you when he started liking girls, because a woman likes a nice smell on a man's aroma.
Well, it's funny because my grandson, who's 7, wants to wear his dad's cologne to school. I said, no, no, no.
Right.
So here at the store, and we're going to explore some other avenues in the store, but you sell shirts.
Well, actually, we from head to toe, caps, hats, dress shirt, ties, cufflinks, suits, pants, and we special order the shoes, top coats, and everything else.
And accessories.
All accessories.
And you said something about accessories that I thought was very important.
Well, what people don't understand, you can get a gray suit or a black suit, which I encourage most young people to start with for a job interview, and then you can accessorize about 100 different ways with a different shirt, a different tie, different cufflink, simple as a different pocket square, or wear with a mock. The accessories really can make your wardrobe seem expanded, much greater than what it appears to be.
Well, I noticed you wear a bracelet.
Yes.
You wear a bracelet. Do you think that's a good look for a man?
I think as long as it's tastefully done. Don't get too gaudy. Just a little bit. Back in the day, we were a little gaudy. I remember back in the day, we had diamonds, or we thought they were diamonds with our names on them and everything else. So just a little taste will go a long way.
Just a little taste. So what's hot for summer?
Linen. For years, I remember men didn't like linen because it wrinkled. I don't like that because it wrinkles. Well, we're gradually moving and accepting the fact that linen, which is a natural fiber, it lets the wind blows through it, and you're very comfortable look.
Really? So you sell linen here. Well, I want to look at some of your fashions, and I want my viewers to see some of the things because we have Father's Day coming up.
Yes, we do.
We're here with Tony Stovall, co-owner of Hot Sam's, and he's giving us an education today. Now, we're going to talk about the latest fashions, what's in for summer, and that is linen.
Linen, comfortable, relaxing, sexy, flowing linen.
And I noticed this outfit right here. I really like it. Why did you choose this? Are you the buyer?
What you'll find out when you go into business, you become the buyer, you the marketer, you the advertising. As we do a commercial here today, you do a little bit of everything. You wear many hats, and I think that's one thing I try to instill in people to remember. When you become an entrepreneur, you wear many hats.
Many hats. And this is a nice outfit, and this is something that men could wear to concerts, all the outdoor concerts too. Do men wear outfits like this to church?
You know what? The dressing has changed, and yes, they do wear them to church. Matter of fact, my pastor often says, okay, take your tie off, relax, it's summer. So come to church a little more relaxed.
I was over at your church last Friday night, as a matter of fact, to a wedding. Would you highlight this shirt? I think it's very pretty. Why did you choose this one?
This is because it's multicolor. You can wear it with almost every color linen pants it is. Most linen is going to be a natural color, taupe, beige, off-white, and you also have the brighter colors, orange or light blue. But what this shirt also does, it folds up, the sleeve folds up to halfway here. It can be short sleeve as well as long sleeve.
Wow,
And we purchased this because it goes with many colors.
and linen, like you say, breathes.
Yeah, sexy, breathe, flow,
Yeah, I like a
relax.
man with his shirt kind of unbuttoned. and got a little chain around his neck, maybe, or just show the bare neck, little hair on his chest. Anyway, I love this hat.
Yes.
It seems like this hat has been around so many times.
Yes.
It's come around.
Yes.
When was the first time you saw a hat like this?
That's a straw fedora. They've been around since the beginning of time. And some things are just constant in a man's wardrobe. A nice fedora hat is constant. Matter of fact, I have 3 lovely daughters. They probably have most of the hats and caps here in the store.
Really?
Yes.
The girls love the hats.
Love the down here, CompUSA, the Quick Loans, a lot of the women come in and purchase the hat. And we make it very affordable and very tasteful for men and women.
Well, they are very, very nice, and we have some hats on the rack behind us. You still have the kind of Big Apple style hat.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Tell us how that has stayed in style. I remember back in the early 70s.
Right. Well, you know what? Actually, the Big Apple, it came in and went away. For a while, the Big Apple was the thing. 'Cause we was right coming off that Black Power movement and everything.
And Donny Hathaway.
Yeah, and everybody wanted. That was the perfect example. Donny Hathaway. You never saw him perform without his Big Apple. And then that got a little too much for some folks. So they made a same version, but made it a little size, a little smaller. Mm-hmm. But what you find out, retro is in. A lot of things we wore in the 70s is coming back.
Why do you think that is? Is that what it is with fashion? Fashion is cyclical.
It really is, and I tell people this: they wonder about is it double breast in or single breast in. Well, here, there's only 2 things you can do to a suit: single breast, double breast. There's nothing else you can do.
You know, that's true because I watch a lot of old movies from the 30s and 40s, and some of those styles are right in today.
Yes, they are.
Now it's spring, summer, it's time for proms, it's time for weddings, all of that.
And that's the good thing about Hot Sands. We can supply your needs for all of those. We do a lot
Weddings too?
We do a lot of weddings because what's happening, it went from renting a tuxedo to now you can buy a suit, shirt, and tie for the price of rental of a tuxedo, and then you have a suit for your wardrobe. So we do the same thing with weddings. We do the same thing with proms. Like I said earlier, the young man, he'll come in with a purple SWAT, and he wants to get a purple suit. And we've been able to teach and mold him and mentor him where he'll get a black suit or a gray suit and get the accessory be the same color as the young lady's gown. Now, for a while, that was really kind of rough for them. Wow, Mr. Stovall, I want a purple suit.
Oh.
Well, no, let's get a purple accessory. You can use a suit at another time for job interviews and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, and it's more economical.
Yes, it is.
And then you could make hay because you could probably get a job. Because I know a young man walking in with a suit impresses me right off.
Well, if he comes in with a black or gray or blue suit, he might impress you with a purple suit, but it's not to hire him. You might think he's coming to be an entertainer. So we try to, and I had young people, they didn't understand when you would tell them, well, but that's sharp, Mr. Stovall. Yeah, it's sharp for a party, but it's not sharp for a job interview. So all we got to do is spend a little more time with our young folks, and the future will be brighter.
Well, I wanted to ask you about this again, and that was the shark skin pants that the men used to wear back in the day, and the alpaca sweaters. Sharp. We thought that was so sharp. We liked it because we could see the contour of a man's body.
Yes.
I don't know. I just like that.
Well, I think
they were well dressed, and then they had their little hat on too, and they had their shirt.
I think our role models in fashion were our entertainers, like the Temptations and the groups. They were very well manicured, dressed from head to toe. And now a lot of our young men, that they look at the entertainers, that now they're rappers and they wear the blue jeans and they might even have a drink in their hand, a T-shirt on backwards, and our kids want to emulate that. So I think we need to go back to some of the things we did back in the day, where you dress for each occasion.
How can we do that, though, Tony?
Well, if we continue to dress up ourselves, because let me tell you what's really a phenomenon to me. When I see a man my age wears his blue jeans sagging, I'm saying they're winning. So we've given up the fight. We need to make sure that we be a better role example, a role model for our young people. Instead of emulating them, they need to be emulating us.
Absolutely. And you said before, when a young man dresses up, he acts different.
When they come in and put on their new suit they're going to wear for prom, they look at themselves in the mirror and you instantly see them smile because they feel good about themselves, they feel better about themselves, and they say, Mr. Stovall, I know I'm sharp. And when a young kid dresses up, he will act nice. But when they don't, they won't.
And lastly about that, a lot of times, a lot of these young men didn't think that they could look like that.
That's right. That's right.
Because the man in their house, if there's a man in their house, might not ever dress like
That's
that.
right.
And they only see that on television.
Right.
So you're giving them another reality.
Yeah, well, we want to give them another perspective because, like you said, garbage in, garbage out. If all you see is garbage, that's all you'll think going to come out yourself. If you see a positive role model, I think you'll emulate a little better image.
And tell us quickly about suits, shirts, and ties, real quickly.
Well, you know what you asked me? You said something about shark skin. Shark skin is back.
Really?
Yeah, we
Ooh.
have shark skin suits here, and we have in single breast and double breast. They come in a black, a blue, a gray, a brown, and a burgundy. So what you'll find, once again, fashion reciprocates itself, comes back, and the shark skin is hot again.
Oh, wow. That means I could see a man's body. Why do I keep on doing this? Well, anyway, but the one thing about it is here at Hot Sam's, people come in all the time, and they sit at the table. And we'll be right back to talk about the table. Good morning again. This is Brenda Perryman, and welcome once again to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33 WHPR. And we've had a grand morning today. Right here at Hot Sam's in downtown Detroit, the legendary Hot Sam's. And remember, it's almost Father's Day, and we're offering the Father's Day contest, a $50 gift certificate from the Brenda Perryman Show to a father out there. All you have to do is email us at bperryman.tv33@live.com and tell us why a father you know deserves a gift certificate to Hot Sam's. And I'm here with the two co-owners of Hot Sam's right now, Mr. Tony Stovall, who we've been talking to, and Mr. Cliff Green,
Yes.
the man behind the curtain. I call you the man behind the curtain because tell exactly the things that you're expert in.
Well, my expertise comes from high school. In high school, I
Where did you
became
attend?
a tailor. Northeastern High School.
Oh,
I took up tailoring as a trade for 3 seasons, 3 years at Northeastern. From there, I went to the University of Detroit, where I studied business and minor in personnel, graduated in '74. From there, I worked at J.L. Hudson Company for 6 years.
I
buyer for
worked there
2
in high school.
Did you?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was a buyer for 2 years, department manager for 2 years, and the assistant personnel director at Hudson's on Plan for 2 years. So I have a vast majority of experience when it comes to retail
And clothes.
and clothing. Yes.
And
Yeah.
the business end, and which is very important.
Yes. Well, you know, having a degree from the University of Detroit, and then working at J.L. Hudson Company for 6 years, you know, gave me a vast array of experience in retail, whether it's doing alterations, whether it's buying, or whether it's doing the accounting end of it, personnel end.
So how did you meet this gentleman here?
Well, initially, being at UAD, I played basketball as well, and I first met Mr. Stovall, Tony, playing a game of basketball.
Really?
With a good friend of mine, Ted, who was also a good friend of Mr. Stovall's. You know, we played basketball together, and we played very competitive. So that was my first encounter. And then again, of course, when I started working at Hot Sam's after I left Hudson's, you know, we became acquaintance again.
So you said you became a tailor in high school.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, in the 9th grade, I remember I went to Newton Junior High School, and at that point in time, we toured high school, you know, the various high schools that you would be attending in September. And I remember walking by, I went to Northeastern, matter of fact, toured Northeastern, and I remember walking by a particular window, and I saw this guy on the press machine, and that just really inspired me, you know. And I said, man, when I come to Northeastern, I really want to take tailoring. And that's what I did. And after my first week or two, it was a natural. Became a natural. As a matter of fact, my teacher at the time, Mr. Galasso, whom I dearly love, whom anybody took tailoring dearly loved. Anyone comes in the store who had him,
Did he have a
talked
son
about
named
him.
Tom?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think he had. I know he had a daughter, but not a son.
Okay.
You know. But after my first semester, he gave me an A, and he said, you know, I was the only student that he had ever given an A to as a freshman
So we have an A student
in tailoring.
doing tailoring right here at Hot Sam's.
Yes.
And,
yes.
you know, I always believe that you should take your passions and turn it into what you do. And you'll enjoy doing it, and you do enjoy doing it,
Right.
and you do. You always love clothes. This is a perfect combination. Oh, I can't sing that song. I wish I could. I'm not very good at it. And then I want to talk a little bit about Father's Day really quickly. If I am a woman, and I come down to get something for my husband or the guy in my life, how would I describe things if I don't quite know his size?
Well, the easiest thing to purchase is you don't know their size, of course, is a tie. Men and ties can make the difference in the whole outfit depending on the tie that you might put with the suit. Then you can also get some cufflinks. Cufflinks, you don't have to know the size. All you got to do is find something that fits your eye, and I'm sure that he will appreciate that. But you said you wanted to do a giveaway, and I'm really inspired by the fact that we need to have young people to write letters about what their father means to them, because there are statistics that shows about the importance of a father in one's life. And
Or the person who represents their father.
Exactly, that male figure to teach them, that protects them, that provides for them, and gives them discipline in their life. And I don't know what we could do at this time, but I'm sure we want to match something that you're doing with the Brenda Perryman donation. We might want to do something in Hot Sam as well.
Well, I would love that because I feel that, like you talked about, a well-dressed person, it just elevates their ego, their self-esteem, and so forth. Now, we're sitting here at the table. Oh, before we start, you had not a competition, but you had something going here with a T-shirt, and I was really impressed about it. Could you briefly tell us what it was?
You know, as you were we were leading in from the story about Mr. Green and going to Northeastern, I went to Southeastern, and the T-shirt really would show the response of alumni that truly love their schools. So I think it's imperative that we let our kids know you can go to Detroit Public School System, get a good quality education, own your own business, and be anything that you want to be. So the T-shirt sign is part of that.
Is it still going on?
Matter of fact, it's such a popular demand, we can't shut it off. We went from sitting here at this table maybe 6 months ago talking about that to Channel 2 and now traveling all over the metropolitan area. It's not us. The people just continue to support this.
Well, there was a sense of pride, and there was so much competition going on between the schools, and a lot of these schools are going away now.
Right.
So this is part of the Tales of the Folk, Southeastern, Northeastern.
Yes.
I mean, all of schools. My school doesn't exist anymore, and we'd like to talk about it, talk about those days, because we lived kind of in a different day.
Well, everybody would seem like was your friend back then. I mean, we didn't. You may have had an altercation with somebody, but later on, that person may come out to be your best friend.
Right.
No one resorted to violence if you won or lost the battle,
Right.
because it's just a little skirmish you had.
Right. It's a
And-
different kind of battle.
Totally different. But what we need to understand, we're on the same thing together. And Detroit Public School System still produce great products. Our young kids can be
Yes.
anything they want to be, and we need to counsel the misnomer that you can't learn Detroit Public School System because you can.
Well, briefly, I want to talk about this table. What I've noticed the few times I've come in here is people come in, people that you know, and they sit at the table and you all discuss politics, you discuss fashion, you discuss so many things. How did this come about?
Well, as Mr. Green has shared with you, he's like the quiet storm behind, and I'm kind of like the front man. I try to create things that make people feel comfortable, and we're almost like a little Cheers or a barbershop kind of mentality. And I've never seen anything like this before. Men have issues just like we'll say women do, and they need to have somewhere to vent. So they come in, we talk about our wives, we talk about our girlfriend, we talk about current events that's going on, politics, religion. And it gets it off their back that you're not alone in this thing called life. And when you have
Right.
someone else to dialogue with, it makes you feel that you have.
Well,
a
I've
partner.
noticed that it's like the barbershop.
Yes.
People come in, they feel comfortable about talking and so forth. And I've always loved to be in the company of men. My father was a manager at a gas station, and I'd love to hear the men talk. It was different. What were you going to say?
I just want to make one statement. When Mr. Stovall mentioned that we talk about our girlfriends, not our girlfriends, just guys who may be single.
Oh, right.
Their girlfriends, okay. We just want to
Yeah, he said, correct that, correct that.
Okay.
And another thing I noticed, you have a Bible up here on the counter, various magazines, even another religious pamphlet. I mean, it is just a place, it's like you say, another Cheers.
Yes. where everyone knows your name.
Right. Well, we're getting ready to have a new TV show called Table Talk with Brenda Perryman, where we're going to have men on it also. So maybe you could come down sometime and be on the panel.
We'd love to.
Oh, man. This has been great. And ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to come down to Hot Sam's because summer season is here. And they have the latest fashions, the styles, the linens, the hats, the ties, the accessories, everything for the well-dressed man. Or what your son, you look at your son, you say, my son needs to look a little better. I'm going to upgrade him. Thank you both, Tony and Cliff. This has been marvelous. And thank you everybody for watching. And Hot Sam's is located where?
127 Monroe Street. And as Brenda said, and I really like this one, Brenda, the mecca of downtown Detroit, Hot Sam's, the oldest men's clothing store in downtown Detroit. The
Where
store
people
that
come
is.
together, where men come together and talk it out.